Hi Libra, welcome to your November 2021 Taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant signs. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Libra, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So before we get into it, quick note, your 2022 tarot scopes are up and out there for your purchase should you wish to get yours. So I am charging for them this year, but they are totally accessible in price for everybody. They're at least 90 minutes long. Like the shortest one I think is like 95 minutes long. So they are, I've put my heart and soul into these. You can get one for $4.99. You can get your sun, moon and ascendant for $12.97, or you can get the whole bundle of all 12 for $24.99, and they are all fully downloadable, so you can watch them again and again, and you know you've got them to keep. With that said, let's get straight into your November for your actions and interactions with the world at large. This month you have the moon card, right? So this could be a month where there's a lot of kind of really deep considerations going on for you. I will say with the moon card, it tends to see us a lot more reflective. So if you find yourself ruminating over things, really thinking deeply on certain subjects or going over things from your past, it wouldn't surprise me. I will say with the moon card as well, some of your actions or your the ways of speaking or the things that you say might be misconstrued this month, right? And that's not necessarily anything to do with you. Maybe you think you're being really clear. Maybe you think you're being, you know, honest and open about everything that you're talking about, but it's just that there are some challenges here. I kind of get the feeling, because this is about what you do, it's about how you act, how you present yourself in the world. And because you've got the moon card here, I almost get this sense that like you could be speaking and it's almost like you're speaking English but everybody's hearing Japanese. Or maybe, you know, you do something that you feel is really kind-hearted or really really helpful, and it just isn't received that way. It's kind of one of those months where I want to say to you, it's not just you, but it's not just them. Like there's definitely something here where what you're putting out or the way that you're putting it out is not being received in the way that it's meant. All right, so try not to take it personal. It looks like it's going to be everybody at this moment in time around you. All right, so for your money and materials, you have the 9 of Wands. So you've got this right next to the moon card. Okay, so I'm sorry to say, my dear Librans, but it does look like you're going to be taking a financial hit of some sort. Now, for some of you, you could be having a conversation this month about money, about finances, about resources, maybe with somebody that you care about. Maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a family member. The fact that you have the 9 of Wands here, I feel like this is going to be a month where you are having to take some financial dip or some financial hit. And because it's next to the moon card, this could be a recurring problem when it comes to finances. It could be a debt that resurfaces, maybe one that you thought you'd paid but hadn't. It could just as easily be a misunderstanding around a debt as well. So maybe you have paid it off, and for some reason, you know, whoever's system or whatever is saying that you haven't, and you have to go through this whole rigmarole. I'm really sorry to say that. I really hope that it improves for you. Another way that this could show up as well, this could see you foot in the bill for something. Now, most of the time, Libras will just take it on the chin and continue. You might be apt to kind of fight back, push back, speak up this month and just kind of say, actually, no, you know what? This isn't right. I would say that this is actually a good thing, like for you to really stand your ground. Now, there is something else here that I want to talk about. You've got the 9 of Wands, you've got the moon card, which is 18. 1 and 8 gives you 9, so you've got 2 9s. 2 9s represents receipt, being in receipt of something or keeping the receipt. So this could be something that you've purchased maybe that isn't up to scratch, isn't up to standard. I hope you've got your receipt, and I hope that this is, if you do have something like an appliance go down or whatever, You may have trouble or challenges this month if you haven't got the receipt getting it replaced or getting it repaired. So that's something to consider. Now, when it comes to your physical health and vitality, be careful with yourself this month, right? Or in general. Usually the Nine of Wands, it's kind of you're in the process of getting over something that's already happened, right? But this, I would be conscious this month of how you look after yourself, and this is probably as well not a month for you to overindulge, especially in things like alcohol, anything that kind of alters your cognition, because, you know, touch wood, I hope I'm wrong, but you know, you could end up doing yourself a little bit of damage. So look after you this month. For your communications and conversations, you have the Page of Pentacles. This is nice, right? So there is something that it does appear that you're working on. Some of you, this could literally be that you're starting a new course of study, and maybe this is, some of you are offering some sort of course of study. You've got this next to the Nine of Wands, and I kind of feel like something that you were planning to do to make money from either doesn't quite go as planned, or it doesn't yield the results that you had hoped for. What I kind of feel is this is almost like a false start. So whatever you're doing, it may not do so well now, but the beauty of this is you've got all of that knowledge, you've got all of the understanding of what went wrong this time, what didn't quite work, all the rest of it. You can repackage this and then you can put it back out in some way, shape or form. So don't see this month, anything that you tried to launch, anything that you tried to study, don't see it as like, oh, well, that was a bust, so I'll just do something else now. Try to see it as, okay, you know what, it didn't quite work this time, but there's no reason that I can't improve on this and do it again. And I really, really like that idea for you, especially with what it suggests coming up or going forward. Now, when it comes to the work sector, I would give yourself some time this month to really ask yourself where it is that you feel like your time is actually going to be best spent, right? And the reason I say this is because that Page of Pentacles is about the understanding that you're a novice at something or in some space of your life, right? But it feels like something that you're being driven to do. So this month, maybe look at where it is that your skills are subpar, or, you know, maybe they're lacking, or maybe they need to be brushed up. Or maybe just say to yourself, this is a time where, okay, you know what, I am a beginner, so I'm going to mess up. It's kind of like, this is one of the reasons people are, you know, adults mostly, are so, what's the word? Why so many people say they'd love to learn a language, but they never bother. The reason being is, in the beginning, you're going to get stuff wrong, right? You're going to say stuff, it will sound funny, people will giggle, that, you know, all the rest of it. It's because most people don't like to seem silly, right? And the truth of the matter is, when you're learning anything new, there's always a moment where you're like, oh, okay, you don't know what you're doing, right? That's the whole point. You're there to learn, right? So this is the same in your professional sphere. If you're taking on new responsibilities, new duties this month, don't dishearten yourself, and more importantly, don't stop yourself from doing something that you really want to do just because you might lose face somewhere, right? This is one of the things, you know, I can say that I don't have that issue, right? I'm quite lucky in that regard. I'm not afraid to fall flat on my face. I'll just get up, I'll laugh about it, dust myself off and continue. I wasn't always that way. I had to learn to be that way. And this is why I say to you, for those of you that are out there, if you're thinking about learning a new language or, you know, studying something new, stop putting it off for that moment that you're going to be proficient enough to finally start learning what it is that you want to learn. Jump in, be prepared to make mistakes, have fun with making those mistakes, because those are the things that are really going to push you forward. All right. And then for your love and relations, you have the Eight of Wands. So this is quite an interesting set of cards. I mean, I will say this, there's a lot of communication coming in. For some of you, this is, I'm going to be really honest with you, for those of you that are single, if you are meeting someone this month, it may be through your work, it may be through some form of study. What I find really interesting about this is, I kind of get the feeling that you're almost not at your best, right? And we've all been there. We've all had this at least once. I have some stories in my past where, man, I really wish the ground had opened up and swallowed me whole. This could be one of those moments though, where you meet somebody, you're not really at your best. The communication is brilliant. The banter is hilarious. It looks like there's an element here of you meeting somebody this month, or certainly talking to someone with the Eight of Wands. That's communication. This is maybe you're communicating with somebody that feels like, you know what, it's just really easy to be around this person. It's really easy to communicate with them. You might even feel like you've known them before in some other lifetime. If you don't subscribe to that idea, maybe you feel like you've just known them for a long time. And you could have an absolute blast. It looks like there's a lot of laughter, a lot of fun. There's a lot of learning as well. So this could be somebody that you meet on a course, somebody that you meet through some form of study, somebody that you meet through work. Now, one of the deeper meanings of the Page of Pentacles is it's actually linked to stuff that is your purpose. And I find this very interesting because it falls next to this Eight of Wands. So this suggests to me, it's very possible that whoever you are encountering this month, for those of you that are single, there's something about this person that is fated to be in your life. And that's really, really interesting, especially given that this month we have an eclipse. So for those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, there might be you and your partner are spending time away from each other. Maybe one of you is traveling for some sort of study. Maybe one of you is, has a lot on with the workload this month. That being said, it's really about the way that you communicate this month. So if you're finding that things are not necessarily easy in the partnership, it's because you need to bring more fun, more of that enjoyment, but more importantly, more of that communication and that banter into the whole experience. So for your first week of the month, you've got the Judgment card and the Moon card. That is a blast from the past. So you're not just ruminating over the past, but there is something that is coming back up for, and I wish I could say it was just for review, but it's not. This looks like something or someone is coming back from the past that you're going to have to deal with now. And like I said, it could be a debt, it could be something that you thought you'd paid off. You may think to yourself, I thought this was over, I thought I was done with this, and it's just not. All right, so just keep that as a consideration. For the second week of the month, you've got the Hermit card with the Nine of Wands. That is also number 9, right? Very, very interesting. What this suggests to me is that so 3 9s represent success. Is it? Come on, brain. Yes, 3 9s represent success. One of the things that I will say to you though is, because it is the Hermit card, you might find that this month you're either battling something or you're challenging something. Maybe you're having to really dig in for something to say, no, it's still in the warranty if you're having to get something fixed, or no, I've got the receipt, I just need to find it. There's whatever that challenge on the financial level is. If it comes up in the second week of the month, you are having to go toe to toe, but I would say that you will win out. So it's going to be a case of persistence more than anything else, right? For your third week of the month, you've got the Wheel of Fortune with the Page of Pentacles. I mean, I really love this. This third week of the month, things could really start to improve for you in a lot of ways. Remember as well, the Wheel of Fortune often sees you in the right place at the right time. And I got a feeling that this thing that you're going to be studying, taking on board, this new methodology, this new idea, this new learning, study, hobby, whatever it's going to be, I really feel like this is something you're supposed to do. And as such, when you find yourself in that place, something's going to develop or evolve out of it. So be open to the possibilities. For your fourth week of the month, you do have the Tower card. So some spontaneous communication. There's a few ways that we can read this because the Tower card falls right next to the Wheel of Fortune. That could be some really big, spontaneous, good news that advances you, that maybe really pushes you forward in some way. It could just as easily be, though, a car accident, right? A touch wood, I hope I'm wrong on this. I don't see anybody being, well, actually there's that 9 of Wands and I wonder now. I don't see anyone being severely hurt. This could be maybe get a little bit of whiplash. You know, when I had my car accident, I damaged my Achilles tendon. It could be something like that. Again, I touch wood, I hope I'm wrong, but I don't see anything here that I would say is fatal. So that I'm actually happy with. It could be as well, maybe it's just that you total your car. And, you know, so now you're having to deal with insurance with this person and that person and and it's all of that going back and forth. Like I said, you got the 3 9s, so it does swing in your favor. That's probably the best thing that I can say to you. It is right underneath the 8 of Wands. So that's some sort of spontaneous communication. It could be some form of really disruptive news as well that comes in. Now, for your moons, for your new moon, in the sign of Scorpio, which is your second house, you've got the gate 32 and endurance, and this card is basically about following your instincts. So one of the things that I will say to you is this new moon may highlight an opportunity, a potential connection, partnership. It may even just highlight to you where you can bring more fun, more enjoyment into your life. It's a time for you to actually be more alert, right, than any other time, I would say. And then for that eclipse that we have in the sign of Taurus, you've got the gate 36 and greener grass. Now, this eclipse is a big deal. The reason it is a big deal, it kicks off the first of the moons that's at 27 degrees. I lie, sorry, that was the Aries full moon that we've just had. But that being said, this full moon is a big deal because it's a full moon lunar eclipse. It's the first full moon lunar eclipse of the next 18 months that's going to be in the sign of Taurus. The eclipses are bouncing between Taurus and Scorpio for the next 18 months. I've talked about that quite a lot in the 2022 Taroscopes. If you want to get yours, hit the link in the description box below, or there'll be a little thing floating around somewhere. And so the fact that this is happening in Taurus, this is a sibling sign to you as well, because you're a Libra, so you're both ruled by Venus, so you're likely to feel the impact of this in some way, shape or form. This card, the greener grass, basically says to us, so this full moon lunar eclipse is going to highlight to you where something maybe isn't what you thought it was going to be, or isn't what you isn't what you think it is. It may also highlight to you a path that you were going to tread down, and then just at the last moment you kind of realize, actually, this is not what I want at all. So this could be a, and with this Tower card and this Wheel of Fortune, there could be a really big spontaneous change of direction. So this is one of those things where maybe you decided to take a job halfway across the world. You were packed, you were ready, you just at the airport, they call you to get on your flight, and everything in you just says, don't do it. You're going to regret this. And you're like, okay, I'm not doing it. There's something about this full moon that could have that kind of energy for you. So I'm intrigued to see how it plays out. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.